Welcome everyone. So economics and diseconomies of scale, our final session today. So you can see economics and diseconomies of scale. So far we talk about this case study first of all, the Gillis and the Grant, these two companies, small business and large business, and we find out how they actually operate and as a large business how they get the more benefits. So economics of scale we can define as the financial advantage of falling average cost of producing something in very large quantities. So diseconomies of scale is opposite side where the rising average cost when firm becomes too big. In this one, you can see the economies of scale diagram is like this. It's a like a U-curve shape. When the falling average cost, you can see the long run average cost falling. That's because of the economies of scale. And after that, the average cost rising. That's because of the diseconomies of scale. Right. Internal economies of scale, there are certain type of internal economies of scales are there. The economies of scale which generate inside the business when the business expand. These are the marketing economies. We talk about like a large scale marketing benefits the firm can have. Technical economies, the market as well as the computer technology and the other machinery they can large business can have. Therefore, they can have the benefits. Financial economies, like the large business have more options and opportunities are there to take the financial access like investors, bank loans, overdrafts, and so on. Right, share capital and all. So as a result of that, than small business, large business can expand more, and they can actually get more like a financial access is there. Therefore, they have financial superiorities there. Then they can actually, for especially bank loans, also sometimes they can go for like a low rate they can pass because of the banks also willing to give more loans at low interest rates. Risk-bearing economics means, I told you, the ability the business investors are there, some business organization, the benefits of diversification is a risk-bearing economics of scale. When organization expand into different territories, like different sectors, they can handle the business like logistics sector and also plantation sectors, manufacturing sector, service, hotel and tourism sector, like that. If you have different multiple business sector performers, then you can have the more advantages. Moreover, the managerial economies, we talk about the internal, like we have, but hiring good managers, you can have more advantages in managerial economies of scale. And other one is the purchasing economies of scale, the cost benefit that you can have by having the large numbers of purchase, like a bulk purchase discount that you can have. Therefore, purchase economies are there. Right? These are the things that we discussed in the previous sessions. Internal economies of scale. And after that, we talk about the activity number one, do it better. And we talk about the main advantage of its expanding, especially this hardware business store. We talk about this case study, how their technical economies coming by using more equipments and new technology, as well as risk bearing, because they are, even though it's a hardware business, it's like a hardware wholesale business. They are selling kitchen equipments, garden equipments, furniture, the timber products, tools, light machinery, building, everything. So that's a diversification benefits that they can have. So today you can see the external economies of scale. We are talking about the external also we discussed in my previous session. You can see the skill labor, which is the organization can have the industrial, they have, if you go to a certain industry, if industry is abundant with the skill labor, it's kind of a blessing for the organization having a ability of access to skill labors, and sometimes skill and cheap labors. Sometimes that's why some countries are relocating to like China and Vietnam, because they have skill and like experience and vocationally like sometimes qualified workers are there. And infrastructure availability is another blessing externally that you can have, which reduce the costing. For example, cost savings can be have if you have good infrastructure like highway systems than the normal road, like a telecommunication system, faster like a fiber optic, faster 4G, 5G access in the data communication. And also if you have good like a banking system, and if you have availability of the good, everything as infrastructure mean it can be economic infrastructure and social infrastructure both, right? Like roads, railways, sports, building, and other facilities. If you have, it's a kind of a blessing to operate your business in that kind of a territory. And third one, we talk about the ancillary and commercial services. Like organizations are very really beneficial. Where if you have these supporting services like marketing, cleaning, banking, waste disposal, maintenance, component supplies. These are the things. Not only this one, the ancillary services means the supporting services, the availability like security services, marketing services, advertising, cleaning services, banking services, waste disposal. That's why like organizations they wanted to go sometimes a developed area, right? Always because the services have more infrastructure and more ancillary services and commercial services. Moreover, the corporation wise, if the business organizations are live, like a place where the people are helping each other, that's why a lot of like normally locating in the places where are close to each other, then they can actually likely to cooperate with each other. They can have everything that we can say, share the research and development knowledge. And sometimes you can see this situation like Silicon Valley in California, the all IT sector businesses are located there, so they can share the resources, share the research and development things, knowledge. And sometimes uh, so simply you can see sometimes even you can share the car park, you can share a warehouse with another one. These cooperation benefits are there. So these are the main advantages coming from external economies of scale. um, right. So next one we talk about is a diseconomies of scale right now. After that, so diseconomies of scale definition, we talk about the cost disadvantage. Like normally when you expand the business, average cost can be rise. That's the other side of the UK. You shape the average cost curve, the economies of scale. Falling average cost, economies of scale. Rising average cost is a diseconomies of scale after minimum efficient point. So we have to find out the reason behind this thing, the reason for the diseconomies of scale. We talk about mainly the main reason for the diseconomies scales come from the main three aspects we're talking here: bureaucracy, labor relation, and control and coordination. Bureaucracy in the sense, sometimes we can see economic students, they know this is we call corporate red tape. Corporate red tape, like the more paperworks, simply we can say paperworks, more to documents to fill, right? Yeah, for example, if you talk about the private sector, public sector, especially the government sector, like ministries and all organizations, they have so much documents to fill, right? You can't take decision quickly because you have to get the approval from the minister. Cabinet minister has to ask from the president. Like that, there's a committees are there. So many committee meetings, technical meetings. Then it will take some time. Small work, but you have to take some time to get the approval. You have to visit different places. So it will take some time. Delays happen. As a result, what happened? Investment will delay, and business startup project will be delayed because approvals are needed. A lot of formalities are there. This is called the bureaucracy. Having the large level of hierarchies there, organization hierarchy to follow, you can't bypass that. So when you hierarchy, you follow large amount of layers, so many people to sign that thing. So from top to bottom, it will take so much of time, right? I talked about this also in previous session. So bureaucracy means becomes too bureaucratic system of administration that uses a large number of departments and officials. Second reason for diseconomies of scale means labor relations. Sometimes large organizations, sometimes labor relationships will be poor, right? We talk about that normally in two big organizations. Sometimes workers and managers may like a relationship will be very low, deteriorate. Managers sometimes fail to understand the workers because there are too many people are there, difficulty of handling. Right? Labor relations will be poor. Therefore, the manager and the worker, because we can see span of control will be very high. As a result of that, the communication will be very poor and they will demotivate at the end. And also, as a result, conflicts may be occur and resources may be wasted. Sometimes we call the silo mentality, like they are working alone. Like as a result, will happen. Departments, interdepartmental conflicts. They are not sharing information. These kind of things can be happen in this kind of organization, because organization become larger mean then relations will be very poor. And third one, and control and coordination will be difficult. Like if you think about a multinational firm operating more than 100 countries, imagine how many different time zones, how many different languages they have to deal with. So control become very difficult, coordination become very difficult. That's why they have regional managers. Sometimes country heads are there to coordinate everything, like the companies like Unilever, Nestle, right? These companies, they have regional managers, country manager, regional country heads are there, right? So they have a controlling coordination will be doing with that mechanism. So control and coordination in large businesses very difficult to control and coordinate. Otherwise, you are not following this thing. That's why like all multinational companies, you see Coca-Cola and Toyota, Nestle, Unilever, right? All these things, they have a huge control and coordination going on regional wise. So thousands of people, billions of pounds on dozens of plants all over the world can make running a large organization demanding. Therefore, you must have very good CEOs, very good managers in order to handle these things, right? Now that we talk about this case study two also, the Volkswagen, and then you talk about there how this economies of scale happen, the problems happen because of the companies have a bureaucratic and control and coordination become too difficult, right? Because of the expansion thing. And we talk about mainly the other limits of growth also. Some business organization may have some limitation of growth, sometimes because of the lack of finance. Business, they wanted to grow to next level to get scale, but you can't do it because of lack of finance, because of that's the nature of the market. Nature of the market, some lack of finance. Under organizations like sole traders, partnership, some private limited companies, they can't go to the large financial options. They don't know. Sometimes some people might difficult to obtain finance. They say they don't. They sometimes always bankers are rejecting them, lenders are rejecting them because they're seeing them are too risky to invest by lenders. That's the main reason. So one limitation, one barrier for growth. And second, we talk about the nature of the markets. Some markets are niche markets. Therefore, anyway, you can't go beyond that because the markets have a very small capacity. For example, if you talk about the luxury market, luxury vehicle, luxury car, like a Ferrari, right? Rolls-Royce, Bentley, this kind of vehicles, only very limited editions are there. Sometimes only 50 vehicles, only 100 vehicles. So like that, so they can't go beyond that, like Toyota. Toyota sometimes they are selling 1 million, 2 million vehicles. But if you talk about the Ferrari, only maximum 100, 200 only. But they can survive with that limit. So because the nature of the market is very limited, because a lot of people can't afford that much of vehicles, so they are producing very small quantity. Therefore, their limit, their capacity will be limited. One factory is enough for the entire world, right? Toyota have many factories in the entire world. They have Japan, they have in UK, they have in the US. They have different countries. They have plants are there, distribution location and the manufacturing location, right? But Ferrari, there's only one. There's only one Lamborghini factory, right? There's only one Ferrari factory. There's one Bugatti factory, right? Like that. So that's the thing. Nature of the market is very limited. Sometimes niche markets you don't need to. You can't expand more. This is the nature, the structure of the market. And finally, the lack of managerial skills. Sometimes some people doesn't have enough managerial skills to operate. As a result, they wanted to stay small. Sometimes they can't hire good people, or sometimes they can't have that idea, like grocery large business, for example, they some business as a result of that may prevent from the growing because of the owners not have the managerial skill required to run the large business operation. And finally, we talk about another one limitation of growth is we talk about the lack of motivation. Yeah, not only that, the lack of motivation was another factor. We talk about we believe that sometimes if you don't have any idea of expand, if you want to stay always quiet, okay, right, stable, then actually you don't need to take that. If you're not a risk taker to go further, then definitely you can't grow because that's your capacity. If you start one business, small business and large business, right, that's the main difference. We talk about the small textile shop in downtown, and if you compare with the Sara, the different visions. The person who obtaining having a small business has a small vision, but person who doing Sara, right, Amanzi Ortega, he has to have a large vision, right? The person who have a small restaurant, it's a small vision. Don't have motivation to open up another restaurant or chain, but it's not like the restaurant chain like McDonald's, right? So they have a larger vision. So you can see that is something, another barrier to actually go economies and distribution scale growth. This is the situation. Some business owners want to grow as their businesses will be. They want to run a small business and they satisfy. It's called profit satisfying objective. They don't want to, they want to go bigger. As a result, they don't want to actually expand their business organization, right? So this is the summary of the lesson so far. So today I'm going to discuss chapter of this case study with the MCQs. So you can answer these questions in a chat line. Communicate with me. Interactive session MCQ. Employing a specialist cost accountant, right? Employing a specialist cost accountant in a growing business is an example of which type of economy? A, technical economy. B, risk-bearing economy. C, managerial economy. D, marketing economy. Employing a specialist cost accountant is which type of advantages you can have? Yeah, I got one couple of answers I got. Yes. Yeah, correct answer given by Liara and Deva. Correct. C is the correct answer. Managerial economy. Very good. Excellent. Second question. What impact will internal economies of scale have on cost? What impact will internal economies of scale have on cost? A, total cost will fall. B, average cost will rise. C, average cost will rise. Sorry, C, variable cost will rise. D, average cost will fall. What impact will internal economies of scale have on cost? So I got another couple of answers. Yes, correct answer given by Kiara, Deva, and Liara. Correct. Very good. Excellent. Awesome. Right. So fourth one, average cost will fall. That's what happened in economies of scale. Okay, let's go to third question. Which of the following is an example of an external economies of scale, right? Which of the following is an example of external economies of scale? Example asking, right? A, increase operation and information sharing between business, cooperation part. B, rising cost and input. C, lower cost owing to bulk buying, describing purchasing economies of scale. D, better efficiency resulting from specialization of labor. Better efficiency resulting from the specialization of labor, right? So what is example of external economies of scale? So answer is, yeah, I got one answer. In this case, the external economies of scale, we can say answer is A, right? Increased cooperation and information sharing between, which is called the cooperation, like similar Silicon Valley example, the sharing in California, Silicon Valley sharing information like research and development, they're sharing. That's the external economies of scale, right? So skill labor is the other one. Actually, D is different from skill labor. Better efficiency resulting from specialization of labor, because that's that's an internal kind of thing. Because internal, like external economies of scale, mean you must have a specific skill labor in the society. So we can take the answer as A, right? Only one student gave the correct answer. Fourth question: which of the following is a possible limit to business growth? Possible limit to business growth. That's a final topic we discussed. Fall in the exchange rate. B, government restrictions. C, marketing constraints. D, lack of finance. Right, 3 students get the correct answer. 4 students get the correct answers. Yes, Mohammed, Kiara, Anik, Deva, Kiara. Very good. So excellent, right? Proud of you. Correct answer, lack of finance. Very good. So that's a very interactive, right? Very good. MCQ questions. So let's go to chapter review questions. Case study, flamboyance. Flamboyance case study. So let's do this case study. Yes, chapter review, the case study, flamboyance, right? Okay, Divan, can you read the case study, please?
Yes, case study, Flamboyance. Flamboyance is a clothes chain based in Singapore. It sells high quality clothes, shoes, and fashion accessories. It has an excellent reputation for good customer service and operates 21 shops in Singapore and a further 52 in other Asian countries. In 2012, Flamboyance employed a specialist marketing manager. The new manager raised the profile of Flamboyance brand right across Singapore. As a result, the company grew quickly and became very profitable. Flamboyance buys most of its clothes and shoes in China. In 2015, Flamboyance bought a clothes chain in the Middle East. It was the thought that the company could further exploit economies of scale, make even more profit. However, there were some problems. Communications became very difficult owing to language and cultural difficulties. There was also lack of employee understanding. Many of the staff did not seem to care whether the company succeeded or not. Some of the store managers also complained that company was becoming too bureaucratic.
Correct. So you can see now the company was later on they have some difficulties like some language, cultural problems, and lack of employee understandings, right? And many of the staff did not seem to care whether the company succeeded or not, right? The store managers are complaining that the company was becoming too bureaucratic, so many paperwork to fill. Later, this is a case study. It was a chain, cloth chain in Middle East, and it's bought by that. And this is a situation happen as a result of because Middle East they are using Arabic and other different languages. So this is what happened there. It's a multinational company, Singapore-based company, and that's what happened. Their reputation, like excellent reputation for good customer stores. 21 shops in Singapore and further another 52 shops in Asian countries. Okay, so they're asking a couple of questions. First question is what is meant by the term scale in business? Second one, describe the effect that economies and diseconomies of scale are likely to have on flamboyance, the average cost. Third question, why is employing a specialist marketing manager in economy of scale? Yes, it's a managerial economy of scale. Fourth one, assess whether flamboyance has benefited from purchasing economies of scale. Last question, to what extent has flamboyance experienced the economies of scale? Okay, so let's move on to the marking scheme. You can see here, first question, what is meant by the term scale in business? The term scale in business means size. If the business increases the scale of operation, it means that the business is getting bigger. And for example, in this case, flamboyance increases scale when it's brought the chain of shops in the Middle East. Chain of shops in the Middle East, right? Second question, describe the effects that the economies and diseconomies of scale are likely to have, right? Describe the effect that economies and diseconomies of scale are likely to have on average cost. Yeah, this one. Yeah, Samara, can you read the answer, please? So Arun, can you read the answer, please? Question number 2.
Business grows and expands, the scale of operations average costs are likely to fall. Larger firms can operate more efficiently than smaller firms. This is because the business begins to enjoy economies of scale. As Flamboyance grew, it employed a specialist marketing manager, which is a managerial economy. Flamboyance bought more clothes and shoes, so they would probably enjoy purchasing economies as well. However, if a business grows too big, average costs will start to rise. This is because inefficiencies slowly develop as a result of diseconomies of scale. For example, in the case, Flamboyance bought a chain of shops in the Middle East, and it appears that problems started occurring after that point. Communications became difficult due to language and cultural difficulties. Such a problem can result in higher costs as a business tries to find solutions. As a result of economies and diseconomies of scale, a firm's average cost curve is U-shaped.
Okay, very good. So yeah, there are, in this answer you can see effects of economies of scale like managerial economics and purchasing economics, the first paragraph, and later on the second paragraph, the diseconomies of scale, given the example like language problems and communication problems, controlling these problems and bureaucracy, this thing they're explaining. So that is the example. With the described questions are not there in our examination. Normally this will be analyzed question, analyze the two impacts, or analyze two in one from economies of scale, one impact from diseconomies of scale, right? 6-mark question. Okay, the third question asking why is employing a specialist marketing manager and economies of scale, right? Specialist marketing manager is an economies of scale, right? So I'll invite, Liara, can you read the answer, please? Question number 3.
As firms expand, they can afford specialist managers. In this case, Flamboyance has employed a specialist marketing manager. A small business may employ a general manager responsible for finance, human resources of finance, marketing, and production. The manager may find this role demanding and lack skills in some fields. A large firm can afford to employ specialists in these fields. As a result, efficiency is likely to improve and average costs fall. Through his or her expertise, the marketing manager was able to raise the profile of Flamboyance brand right across Singapore. As a result, the company grew quickly and became very profitable.
Okay, thank you. So normally this is asking what is the impact of the employing a specialist manager, marketing manager for this one. It's a result of that because Singapore based company, and then there's a demand. If sometimes specialist marketing manager, a small business you can't afford like this because they are very expensive. So general manager responsible for finance, human resource, finance, everything. So small business like a one-man role, but large business you can appoint a specialist person for one specialist section. So manager may find this all demanding and lack skills in some fields. Large firms can afford to employ specialists in these fields. So as a result, efficiency will be improved. That's the thing. Average cost will fall. Through his experience, the marketing manager was able to raise the profile of the company, Flamboyance and brand, right across Singapore. As a result, company grew quickly and become very profitable, right? The fourth question is an assess question. Normally, this question will be like an evaluate question, like small question, assess, or sometimes small, the answer is not that much big. Assess whether Flamboyance has benefited from purchasing economies of scale. So then we can say outline question, we can say like, oh, sometimes outline question, we can say, oh, analyze question. 2-mark question, this is like enough. You can see large retail chains like Flamboyance are very likely to benefit from the purchasing economies, and those that buy large amount of stocks can get cheaper rates because purchasing economies are to explain. For example, look at the example use shoes, clothes. Manufacturers will offer discount to firms that buy stock in bulk. That's the application because it's a clothing retailer. So what you can purchase, shoes and clothes. So you can't say vehicles and the chocolates and biscuit, you can't say, because that is not the application. Correct application means you can use their product names, product portfolio. And discount firm they buy in stock. And this is similar to consumers buying multi packs in supermarkets, and they are better to value for money. So Flamboyance has expanded rapidly and now buys large quantities from stocks from China. Inevitably, the company will benefit from the purchasing economy. Yes. To what extent has Flamboyance experienced economies of scale? Yeah. So this question I invite Kiara. Can you read the question, please? Answer question number 5.
Diseconomies of scale occur when average costs start to rise because the firm has grown too big.
Right. Look at
In
the
this
application.
case, there is some evidence that Flamboyance is suffering from diseconomies of scale. Since buying the chain of stores in the Middle East, problems have occurred. For example, communications became difficult due to language and cultural difficulties. There were also some employee problems. There was a lack of employee commitment. Many of the staff did not seem to care whether the company succeeded or not. This would result in inefficiencies and rising costs. Also, some of the store managers complained that the company was becoming too bureaucratic. Rising bureaucracy is a common source of diseconomies of scale. If a business becomes too bureaucratic, it means that too many resources are being used up in administration. Too much time may be spent filling in forms and writing reports. Also, decision-making may be too slow, communication channels too long, and too many managers may be employed. It could be argued that Flamboyance is experiencing diseconomies of scale to a significant extent since buying the chain of stores in the Middle East.
Very good, excellent, Kiara, right? So this is the thing, when you're answering this question, this mainly problems, this economic scale based questions are there. So economics of scale questions are really popular in exams, also in IGCSE question. You go through internal economics and external economics, sometimes MCQs, sometimes state questions, outline questions, analyze questions, and everything's there. So this case study, you can see by what I want to show you today, the summary of the lesson. I actually talk about the summary again for the internal economics of scale, 6 types, right? Purchasing, marketing, risk bearing, managerial, technical, everything. And also talk about the external economics of scale coming from the other side, like cooperation, skilled labor, ancillary supporting services, right? And also we talk about the main drawbacks, the diseconomies of scale coming from 3 methods, right? The bureaucracy, and also we talk about the organization will be having some kind of cost difficulties like control and coordination, right? These are the main reasons for we talk about the diseconomies of scale also can become. And also external economies of scale, which coming from the outside of the like corporation, they can share the research and development and also the skilled labor. These things also we discuss. And also we talk about the like couple of case studies, MCQ questions, right? You watch a video regarding how to be rich without, how to make money without no money, with that Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So like that, so this is really interesting thing. Like economies of scale means that always try to expand your business. If you expand your business only, you can get these benefits. So expansion will take different strategies. Sometimes you can do organic growth or sometimes inorganic growth, right? Organic means sometimes you can use your own money and it will take some time. Inorganic growth is like using the debts of others and be rich. Then you can expand. It's like a fast method of expanding, like a mergers and acquisition. Also you can do to expansion like that. So anyway, there are so many certain benefits are there of expanding, but you should be very, very careful when you're expanding because there are some kind of diseconomies of scales can become like this case study Flamboyance we identify. They have some kind of issues regarding the Middle East countries because control, coordination problems, bureaucracy problems, language problems and everything. But I think these things can be overcome if you have a tight control and proper managerial control. If you have, I think this overcomes is a small challenge. I think this can be anyway overcome. That's why like a multinational business are created, right? It's very you must have a proper mechanism to do that thing. That's why if you have the proper guidance and proper control, it's not a big challenge to open up a large organization. Okay, from that we are going to wind up our session. So next session will be the productivity and the production methods I'm going to discuss in my next session. See you there. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Bye, sir. Thank you.